Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Breaking Bad Broken Down. On this show, we talk about the latest episode of Breaking Bad, and we're going to talk about crazy spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, please don't watch. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Philip DeFranco.
I'm Elliot Morgan.
So the episode is 513. It's called Tahajali, which I had to look up how to pronounce. And
We just learned right now.
it's something to do with Indian.
It's a Navajo thing, yeah.
Thank you. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Anything. So the entire episode, it just continues where it was left off. He does say, you know, we got to take care of Jesse. Hey, oh, hey, buddy, hey, pal. They meet up. The Nazis are like, oh, so is it a rat problem? He's like, no, why would it be a rat problem? I just, you know, he just doesn't understand. Then Hank tries to figure out if, like, there's a GPS in the money van where he dropped all the money. Turns out, no, but wait. Walt doesn't know that, and he's such a greedy motherfucker, we could probably trick him. And then they trick him, and the entire time I'm screaming, no, and he drives into the desert, and he's talking to Jesse on the phone, who has like a picture of a barrel that's not really the barrel, and he gets out there and he's like, oh no, I've been had. And 3 seconds pass, he sees Hank roll up with Jesse, he calls the Nazis, he's like, let's, no.
Yes, no, yes, no.
Kill everyone.
No.
No one.
Really, no.
No one. I'm not just saying this. Please don't come. And then he hangs up the phone, and there's this moment where he just gives up. He drops his gun. There's like the white knight moment of Hank handcuffing Walt, and they're like, yeah, like it's everything. You're expecting like a high five credits. If this is the final episode, it's done.
It's like the freeze frame high five with credits rolling.
Yeah,
and then
the Breakfast Club.
And
exactly.
so this is the first time Walt gets to see Jesse fucking him, and he calls him a coward. Jesse responds like you do, and he spits in his face. Then he proceeds to almost fight a man that's handcuffed. Then he's in the back. Hank calls. He's like, I'll be home. Make me a steak dinner, bitch, and we're gonna have sex, and I love you.
Potentially the last discussion they ever had.
Right, and then that's when you see the Nazis show up. They're like, wait, but were you for real when you said don't show up? Because I don't think that you were. And then I thought it was just gonna end where they were pointing guns at each other, and nope, they just start firing, which we're gonna talk about for sure. And then end of episode.
Yeah.
And then,
I love the end shot too, because it's literally Walt's freaking bald head going down into a seat and then immediate cut off.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's almost no point of talking about the first 20 minutes of like Huel being like tricked.
Poor Huel. Poor Huel.
He's like, oh no! I like how like as soon as he just sees something, he's like, he just.
Well, Huel's world is turned upside down now because he doesn't have anyone to trust
His
anymore.
feelings are so hurt.
His feelings are so hurt.
Man,
why the hell would he go after me?
I didn't do nothing to him.
Yeah, I didn't do nothing to him.
Right, and we get the fake brains made.
Yeah, which is great. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here when Hank's dropping brains on the ground?
I do think the one thing that's really cool that you see, I think for the first time in this episode, is you see Walt attempt to get out of a situation, and he's like, I can snuff him, I can flush him out. And he does the whole thing with Brock. He goes back to Brock's place, he talks to his mom.
Yeah, he knew where to go.
And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, Walt freaking again one-upped everybody. Yeah. And then it's this huge scene, you're stressed out, it cuts immediately to Hank with his Hello Kitty phone, like, nice try, asshole.
Well, because that's how awesome Hank is. And again, Hank is really the hero of the show.
And
he
then
really is.
They try to flush him out, and then it actually works.
back
it's the
and
first
forth.
time you ever see like Walt totally fail and somebody else totally succeed.
Yeah.
Well, and Walt just spilling his guts in the car to Jesse. But the thing is like, it's in any other show, in any other movie, you'd be like, great, here's the bad guy foiling his plan by saying everything he's going to do, everything he did.
Yes.
But in the show, I mean, in this scenario, it's Walt trying to prove to Jesse everything he's done was for him.
Last night
and
was
to keep him alive.
Yeah, last night was all about opposites. I feel like, well, never mind. You guys don't watch sports. I was gonna say because Eli Manning. Yeah, Eli Manning out Tony Romo. And then
that restaurant where you can get a good steak.
Yeah, it's a great restaurant. It's great food. And then Heisenberg got out Heisenberg.
Yeah.
And the entire time he's driving, I'm just going no, because it was you this morning that said you had a completely different reaction because I'm going, Walt, no! You can't scream things into a phone.
You're still rooting for Walt.
Of course, I'm Team Walt, bitch.
Well, and I would say too, I wasn't like anti-Walt in that moment. Like I am by no means Team Walt / Heisenberg. But what I will say is during that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, he's like making a case for him like actually
but see,
caring
that's
about
the thing.
Jesse.
That's what you're thinking.
So
exactly,
I was emotionally invested, but I was still kind of pro Walt in that moment, at least from the perspective of like, I hope Jesse at least now understands a bigger picture here.
Everything Walt's saying is very one-sided, though. you know, after a breakup, there's always that one side of the relationship that's like, I never did anything wrong. It was all for you, baby. I swear. But if you think about it, everything Walt ever did to protect Jesse was also above and beyond, more importantly, to protect himself.
Totally.
So, I mean, it just so happened saving Jesse was also kind of the bonus of saving himself.
No, see, that's the thing. I don't think it just so happened, right? There's a moment where Walt sees the Nazis. He's like, fuck. And then he tries to warn Hank. Like, he legitimately cares about family, and I think, like, him, like, setting up the hit on Jesse is one of the hardest things he's having to do. It's not like he's looking forward to it.
Walt is in crisis, though, because it's like, does he want to protect his family, Hank, and he doesn't give a shit about his family, which he considers Jesse. He's just gonna off him.
I think
there's a crisis,
tendency, though, to, like, want, like, a bad guy to be all evil. Like, we're so used to somebody being, like, an all black or all white. But, like, I think... like, Walt has good moments. He has good, like, he has moments where he's pleading and he's panicked and you see this, like, human inside of him. But I can't use that as justification to get on his side only because of all the bad that he's done. The product of what he's done is so bad. Like, it's net negative for what he's done to the world.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The sign of a true great villain is one that anyone can relate to. And you can have your villain. In all the movies, they say that the way that they establish a good villain is he kills someone or she kills someone right off the bat. That's how you establish a villain. They don't care about human life. They don't care about anything. Boom, dead. Oh my God, this guy's evil. But the real good villains are the ones where you're like, oh my God, I kind of like relate to that decision in a way. And that's what Walt is. Walt's a villain that we can ultimately relate to because he does have morals. He does tell the Nazis on the phone. He knows that they're coming. He gave them the location. He told them, don't come, because he knows Hank's there. He sees Hank. And that's Walt with morals in his heart thinking, there's no way I'm going to have Hank die.
I'm not
There's
Team
no
Walt.
way.
I was almost Team Walt last night. I think you kind of had to be in that scenario.
I wasn't Team Walt. I mean, I'm still not Team Walt. I'm with you. I'm kind of like, I feel bad for him because this is Walt who's stuck in a cage that can't get out. So it's fight or flight for him. And he's finally just given up. He's done. He drops the gun. He walks out and he listens to Hank. He drops to his knees. He puts his hands behind his head. This is a defeated Walt, which is something we've never seen in the series before.
Yeah, and Jesse found his kryptonite, which is money.
Yeah.
Like, totally money. And I think that's a weird thing is it was one of those moments I couldn't figure out if Walt was literally pleading or like actually pleading his case or he was still lying to himself because would he have cared if Brock died? You know, that's
Probably
the thing.
not.
Would he have cared? Or was he so sure of himself that it would never happen? And there is that weird moment when he's like staring at Brock and it's almost like he's looking at him like he's not a person. Like I don't see the guilt in Walt's face. Maybe it's somewhere there. I don't see it, but I'm still Team Walt because I do think that he's a good guy. He has his reasons. I'm gonna be if Lindsay starts hitting me, I'll be like, she loves me though.
She's still a good person.
She's still a good person.
Well, but the thing about
the
money that you were saying is like Jesse found his kryptonite, which is money, but behind the money is still his family. And if we're
I disagree.
But I mean, if we're to believe that Walt is actually dying, because it still could be a ruse for the audience that he's faking his own death. The cancer is not back. I don't know. He's coughing on his own. He seems weak, so I don't know. Maybe, I mean, he's probably dying. But the thing is the money, the reason why the money is so important to him is because he's going to die. He wants to leave his family with something. He wants
I think
to,
that's so
whether
wrong.
Whether it's his legacy.
That's what I'm wondering if he's lying to himself.
Well,
Yeah,
but that's
I
the
think he
thing.
is.
I mean, ultimately, he wants it to go to his children. He wants it to go to his wife.
I think it's the one thing, though, that holds out, like, if the money goes away, it's not even that he was successful or not. He did so much shit for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't get that money, he just did all those bad things, and that's it.
I think that's a huge part of it, and I think also, like, pride. Like, Walter White's entire character is this sort of weakling teacher who missed out on a huge venture opportunity that you find out
that could have been legitimate and could have worked out.
He could have had, he could have been rich. He's always the guy who could have done something.
Yeah.
And now he finally has that thing, which is 7 barrels full of cash. And so he's like, in his mind, that's the most important thing. And yeah, I think he'll lie to himself to the end of probably the series in terms of like, oh, it's just for my family. No, it's his source of pride. It's all he's ever had.
I think it's a source of pride and it's his family. It's almost like it's Heisenberg battling Walt in his own mind. And it's just kind of like, you have that conflict of maybe he is lying to himself. Maybe he's such a good con artist that he's conning himself. and that's something that is to be considered, and it's maybe something we'll be thinking about even after the series ends.
There is something beautiful about it coming full circle in that the spot that he buried the money is the first place they cooked, but also that point when they're doing that, that's the moment that Walt has the least control over a situation, and he's right back there at the end of the episode when the longest firefight ever is occurring, and he is in complete. He has no control. He literally has his hands behind his back in a locked vehicle, just bullets everywhere, and then you have just Jesse. So
We'll see.
Everyone's all like talking about Team Jesse. All I see with him, and I know he's got like morals and stuff. All I see is a rat.
You know what I am?
Look.
I am Team Walt Jr.
Team Walt Jr.
Dude, Walter Jr. being starstruck with
That was one of the best scenes.
It's just all good, man. Just the big smile on his face. I love it so
and then
much.
that whole thing. Don't drink and drive, but if you do,
Call me Damon.
Oh yeah, we completely forgot the opening, which I tweeted. Meth Damon deserves maybe a different name because that was the weirdest fucking intro.
Oh man,
when he's like,
dude, something's wrong with him.
He's like, so. What's up?
Well, I'm sure he's got some serious mom issues because it doesn't look like he has any good
but look,
female figures.
we forget that this is the guy that killed a kid and kept the tarantula.
Oh, he's messed up. There's like a chunk of his brain
something psychologically
gone.
wrong with him. Yeah, exactly. And he's like rubbing the lipstick on the cup.
There's
and then he takes the drink
from
it.
He's a great like kind of antithesis to the whole like black and white morality of the show because you have this kid who's just like so clearly black, but everybody loves him. Like,
well, because he's so nice. Do you want me to get you some coffee?
No,
is it strong enough? Do you want another bag? I can get you another bag if you want another bag. No, it's just fine.
I'll get better.
Yeah.
I'll get better. Oh my god, so
they
great.
may have gotten a couple degrees
By
too
the
hot
way-
for a second.
By the way, how terrifying is the Nazis are so intimidating. Those guys are intimidating in general, but when they're in the lab, they're like, "That looks blue to me. Does that look blue to you?" Yeah, it's like a bluish green. It's like
And
this
then
is
he's
terrifying.
like, I mean, some lights.
All right, so let's dedicate the rest of this to the firefight.
So so they're staring at each other. The white power guys are like, "Show us your
badges,"
which they don't care. They're
well,
like,
but I mean, they probably care to a degree because they're criminals, hardened criminals, and don't give a fuck by any means. And they're thinking, are we going to kill DEA agents or are we going to kill civilians? If they're civilians, who gives a fuck? If they're DEA agents, we got to be a little bit careful about this.
well, I mean, at this point, right? So there's 6 dudes, white power guys. There's a car. They all have probably I don't know the state, but maybe weapons that are illegal.
Maybe.
Pointed at these guys.
I think someone said there was an automatic shotgun.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, like an AA-12 or some shit like that.
I mean, at no point were they like, "Hey, we got papers for these two." Okay,
And then everyone decides to stare at each other, going and like Jesse's looking on like fuck. Like Hank and Gomi are like, okay, this is about to go down. And then the one glance over like, so we're gonna kill these pigs.
Not even a wink, just like a.
Just look
And
over.
then-
Yep.
Yeah, so we're doing this. And then, okay, so in the behind the scenes, it takes Hank and Gomi about a second and a half to 2 seconds to get to the car, but in the actual shot, it looks like 12 seconds, which makes you wonder, how did no one die instantly, right? Because you have automatic shotgun. So the way that I put it,
They're pretty far away from each other, though.
But what I'm saying is, right, we've seen the white power guys just destroy in that one episode where Lydia's checking the meth out.
Oh,
right?
yeah, the guys,
Kills
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
in 20 seconds, but they show up. It's 6 dudes versus 2 dudes, right? But then it's 6 guys with crazy weapons versus 2 guys with okay weapons and no cover whatsoever.
Yeah,
just
they're out in the open, yeah.
And then 5 of these guys are trained killers, and you have Meth Damon just popping off
Yeah,
shots.
that-
Like,
with his little like awkward
Well,
kind
and
of.
they aim their guns before they take cover. Like they're set.
they're
But-
set. And then you have like Gomi probably is a good shot, but when was the last time?
Well, Gomi
Hank,
and Hank are a good
no,
shot.
but when did Hank? Like Hank, literally, he's been behind a desk for however long, and before that, his job was like getting minerals while being paralyzed.
Plus, he's limp now. Like you can't.
Well,
then he's
yeah,
like, he's
but he's
limping to
still. I mean,
cover.
he took down the cousins and stuff. Didn't he take down the cousins?
But he's
that was pre.
so anyway. So
well, okay, pre-accident.
some-
I don't know.
some
I don't
people
know
were
if that would
saying-
affect his gun shooting. Though,
some
or his
people
shooting.
said they thought Gomi was shot.
I thought
that-
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
the shirt was a little red. Some people
Well,
saying it was a shadow.
Gomi's a goner for
He's
sure.
gotta
It
be.
doesn't matter. He's a goner.
He should be. He's the
He's
worst
a red
actor on
shirt,
the show.
right? That's
He's
pretty
the
much
red
it.
shirt,
Is-
yeah.
at
But
this
I mean,
point.
he's the red shirt that you care about. The red shirt in Star Trek came out of nowhere and was like, "I'm your backup now." But Gomi's been a staple of the series since the very beginning.
He's been the only one I would say that hasn't broken bad.
Well, let's talk about the distance though, because I honestly believe the distance is a huge factor.
It could be. You know, they tell cops to like shoot the entire clip because, you know, when the adrenaline's pumping, you know, your accuracy goes to shit. But there's 6 dudes, like
all concentrating on 2 guys.
On the improbability of them missing these guys, I'm gonna read a text because last night, you know, you do what you do. You watch the show, you jump on. It's my buddy John DeWeird. Said, I hope Mr. Vince Gilligan would have just had Hank or Gomez die at the end of the ep if they were going to die in this gunfight. So, I think the phone call where Walt told them not to come, Uncle Jack and company knew to show up and not kill the guys. I mean, they were close range with a machine gun. So I think Jack and gang are running Hank out of ammo, and then we'll take him captive. No one would know what they were up to except the call to his wife, which would be crucial at some point. I hope it wasn't the last time they speak. It would be more interesting if Jack and company take Jesse, Walt, Hank, and Gomez captive, and then force Walt to cook for them right in front of Hank. Then the whole gang has to work together to escape the grasp of Jack and Meth Damon.
Wait, so they have to then team up?
Yep. Like,
It sounds like that sounds like a super movie.
It's like an 80s movie. It's
Yeah.
like, with the
What's
bad guys
more
up.
likely is
Go for it.
is that Hank is gonna die,
right now.
Gomi is gonna die, and we have Jesse and Walt left with the Nazis. Nazis come over. Is this the guy you wanted us to kill? Walt's like, I'm never cooking anything for you. You're never getting a goddamn thing out of me. You killed Hank. You killed Gomi. I told you not to come. You're not getting anything out of me ever. You're going to have to kill me. And then they say, we're going for your family if you don't cook
Really?
for
You
us.
think? But he already has his family.
Everyone
First of all,
keeps
he already
talking
made a
about the
case for
family.
Jesse being his family in the beginning of the episode.
No, I'm talking about Skylar and the kids.
No, I know, but Walt, from their perspective, has already said, like, Jesse is family to me. So if they're going to go for his family, they have him right there.
Yeah, but they
also
don't
have his
know
literal
Hank is his family. They don't know that.
Let's say they find out. Let's say in the whatever standoff happens, or let's say regardless, they know these guys are important and they know they weren't supposed to kill him.
I'm trying to remember. They hide behind the car, the big car though, right?
Yeah.
So what if? Okay, so now we're going into theory mode,
Yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
think Gomi definitely has to die.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only way I think Hank could get out of this situation is if he took Walt hostage. Like, that's the only way, right? Because they need him. But he doesn't necessarily know that he's their cook or, like, what the deal is. But, like, if I'm that guy and I'm outgunned, I have to be like, oh, they're here to save him, right? So I have to hold him hostage. But that being said, it's totally believable that Hank and Gomi will die. It's just a matter of what the next episode, what they want to show. Will they instead go from that moment? Like, because they didn't show anyone dying. I feel like it is... They've done
That's
that before.
That's the biggest thing for me. Is like I can't imagine that they wouldn't show him dying.
But I think that it might be for a later payoff. Like,
Right,
so
yeah.
maybe the next episode's like a full flash forward, and then you see everyone
Yeah, because
die.
what episode has ever started with like a huge revelation? Like, actually just started with a revelation.
Well, you
I don't
didn't know.
think They do.
Well, they did like the season. It's different because it was a season finale and season premiere of Did He Kill
Gale. Yeah.
You know, so they've done that before.
That's
but,
true,
But
yeah.
usually they show it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I think there is something significant about it. I think they might take.
Well, the
a jump.
creators said about the Gale thing that like they feel like they undeniably got the point across that Jesse shot Gale. Like, but there was still that wonder of like, did he do it to the side? Did he maybe?
Right.
So I don't know, but regardless, something's happening in this desert.
I think they got a plan up their sleeve. Regardless.
I don't know. I'm
But
scared. I'm
we'll find
nervous.
out. I never screamed that loud at it.
I don't know. I think in the next 2 episodes, we know what happens in the desert. It's just a matter of, like, literally, will they just keep continuing? Because we do have the option to flash forward.
I can't
That's-
imagine they're going. I think you're right. I think they're going to do like the flash forward again.
But that's the question. What do you think will happen next? How'd you like last night's episode words and stuff and things? Anything else you want to add?
No, I got nothing, man.
Nothing?
Nothing. I'm speechless.
I want to go watch
One
it
more week.
for a third time.
One more f***ing week.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how I feel like the past few weeks. Is like every time it happens, it's like,
I know.
yeah, yeah.
7 days.
But then every weekend rolls around, and I'm like, sweet. My
It'll be
weekend's
a
gonna
lot
go well.
easier in like 8 days because Grand Theft Auto will come out. And I'll be
Yeah,
like,
we'll be able to
"Yes!"
distract ourselves.
Yeah, I'll be
yeah.
able to distract myself
But
and not
we
think
have
of how
football.
empty my life is without Breaking Bad. I DM'd the Breaking Bad guys because they tweeted me or retweeted my thing last night, and I was like, I love you, and I'm sad, excited. There are only 3 weeks left, and they DM me back. Likewise, brother. I was like,
That's nice.
no, not the love. I think they're also sad that it's going
They
away.
said brother. They should have said bitch.
Brother.
Likewise,
Oh,
bitch.
they should have said bitch.
Yeah.
Come on,
Fuck you,
social media
AMC
team.
Breaking
By
Bad.
the way, have you guys ever hated a black screen with someone's name on it more in your entire
I don't know
life?
where that sentence was going.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever hated a black?
You guys hate black people as much as I do?
Take us
Thank you for watching Breaking Bad Broken Down. My name's Philip DeFranco.
I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Elliot Morgan.
There you go. Always racist or sexist in one way.